Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the introduction to Primo VE webinar. In this session, we will learn about the current status of Primo VE, where we stand. You will gain also an understanding of Primo VE principles and strengths. We will take a peek at Primo VE functionality and demonstrate some interesting features. We also learn the benefits of leveraging the Alma platform, and then in the end, we will talk a little bit about the GoVE, the new model to move from Primo to Primo VE. So let's start where we stand. We are currently on 832 live Primo VE institutions from all the types, all the regions, as you can see in the slide, all topologies, single institutions, consortia, multi-campus, etc. And we have Primo VE new customers as well as customers that moved from Primo to Primo VE. And what are Primo VE principles? This is an historical slide explain what we have before Primo VE and give us a feeling what was changed when Primo VE was originated. So in the beginning, we have started with Primo that knew to work with different systems, various ILS systems, digital and electronic systems. We created in Primo the configuration, the process to load the data sources, interoperability with system, etc., etc. The next step was a better integration with Alma. This integration was built together, so Primo is communicated with one system, with Alma, and the communication is much closer and better. But also in this solution, Primo and Alma are two different systems. And now, Primo VE, Primo and Alma are on the same platform, which give a huge benefit. This could allow better workflows, strong integration, and simpler implementation. So when we started with Primo VE, we had some main principles. The first principles is a unified implementation on the higher education platform, which actually reduces the need to configure stuff twice, like institution, libraries, IPs, authentication, etc., etc. Because it's one administration system which is used by Primo and Alma, configuration is done once and used by all the products. There is no need for publishing. The Alma records are updated in real time. No need to run any process to publish the records to Primo VE. Any change in the existing data or new records are reflected immediately in Primo VE. This real-time metadata update will be demonstrated during this session. The simplicity is our important principle when we create features in Primo VE. We design configuration and the implementation of features to be in an easy and quick way, to be start-oriented, one place to set up feature or configure elements and not several places. We also think about the whole process and design it to be fast with minimum processes. For example, most of the features don't require recalculation of the data or running processes, like scopes configuration or local fields. Also, there is no more need for deploy when configuring feature. We'll demonstrate some such features to show you how it's easy. The Primo VE is a SaaS-based on the platform, so it gives us better synchronization with other products. So for example, development in Alma is synced with Primo VE in the same release date. It's also monthly updates that give us the ability to respond much better. Something that we always try to do is to think how we can take the advantage of the platform and release nice feature or release a feature in a better way because of the platform. In the coming slide, there are a few examples of such nice features. So now let's take a peek at Primo VE to see how easy and simple it is to configure features. I will show you the scope configuration, the real metadata update, the local fields options, and the search within journal option. So let's switch to Alma. So this is an Alma, and as you can see here, we have the discovery menu in the top, and also here you can see in the discovery in the configuration the discovery menu. In this discovery menu, you can see all the options to configure in Primo VE. So I would like to start with the scope profiles configuration. we will see the scope options, which provide the required and the granularity in terms of the logical subset that every scope should contain. All the scope's conditions are indexed in advance, so no need to do any action like indexing after the scope creation. Actually, after creating a scope profile, it can be added in the view and used in the Primo VE interface immediately. So let's start with a search profile, and I start with a basic option. I would like to create a scope to search in two specific libraries with my law and music libraries. So let's see how it's easy. In the add a search profile, I can actually specify first the code, law and music. I can type the law and music libraries, which is the label of the scope. Here we have a globus, which actually, when clicking on it, it presents all the languages that are activated in my institution. So during the scope creation, I can translate the scope label to all the relevant languages. So no need to go to a it's during the scope creation. And we have here add scope, which actually are out-of-the-box scopes that you can actually use. We have here in the list scopes from my campuses, which will list all my campuses, my libraries, which we will use in our demo, other indexes like EBSCO or WordCat search, an option to search in my entire institution, and central index, which will search in the CDI. So I am selecting the my libraries and get the list of all libraries that I have in my institution. Let's select the law library and add it to the list. And I want also the music library, so I'm selecting this, add and close, save it, and I have the scope. What I have to do now is to link this scope to the view, and then users will see and will be able to search in this scope immediately. No need to run any process. Actually, this information is indexed from the beginning in advance, so it's available to be used immediately. Another option is a custom local data scope. And in this option, there are actually a lot of conditions that you can define in order to create the scope. So what I want to do is to create a scope for online books. I want actually to search by all the books, but only the books that have electronic availability. So let's see how I can define it. In the code, I will define the online books, name also the online books. In the other condition, I have several options. I have an option to add a condition based on the inventory. So let's see. In the inventory, I can select based on the available digital, electronic, physical, the course information, external data source, etc. Several options. In my case, I want to select available electronic and add a condition. The second condition will be based on the metadata. I have also the local fields, which I will demonstrate it also. You can select a specific local fields, but you can select also by metadata, out of the box metadata that we map. And let's select the resource type. Type equals to the books. Let's the conditions. So now I have a scope that actually search for all the books that have available electronic. I can save it. Okay, it's already used, so it's created. Now I can also, in this case, link it to the view and use it immediately, because all this metadata and the conditions are indexed in advance. The next option that I would like to show you is a real-time metadata update. In this demo, I will show you how changes in the catalog in Alma affects immediately in the user interface. Any change on the record is applied immediately in terms of display and search and reflected to the user. So let's go back to Alma. I want to store a specific record that I have prepared, which is called business law. So I have the business law in Alma with all this information, and I have a new option for Primo VE customers, which is a display and discovery. Clicking on it will open the record in the discovery in Primo VE. So let's see the record. I have the title, the creator, the publisher, creation date, all this information. What I want to do is to go to the record itself, to the in the MD editor, and edit the title and the creation date, and see that immediately after that, the record is updated also in Primo VE. So let's go back to Alma, edit the record. Now in the MD editor, I want to edit two fields. So let's update the title. Real time, for example, and in year, and save and release the record. Now the record is saved, and Primo VE is triggered to index the record for Primo VE needs. Clicking on refreshing the page, we will see the changes in Primo VE. So as you can see here, the title was changed, also here, and the creation date was updated to be the new one that I have updated. So the same is also for new records. A new record, it takes 20 minutes to be indexed and displayed in Primo VE, quite after you added new records in Alma. So this is the about the real-time metadata update, which actually take advantage of the platform and allow us to do that because of we are on the same platform of Alma. The next feature that I want to show you is the local field. I want to show you the options of the local fields and before and demonstrate it on this record. So just before, let's see what we have on the record. You can see that we have all the out of the box metadata. No local fields are presented here. And what I want to do is to add a new local field to this record. Let's go back. Alma, let's go to the discovery. In the discovery, we have manage, display, and local fields. In the local fields list, you can see that I have a local field 10 with a donation note. Actually, this local field was created to present the donation note for the users with the relevant information. And let's edit it and see what we have. So in the local field, you can specify if this local field is only for display or also for search and facet. Those are the checkboxes that indicate that this local field should be available also for search and facet. And we have two ways to map the bibliographic metadata to the Primo VE local fields. The first option is by adding Mark 21 field from a closed list of fields. As you can see here, the list contains all the bibliographic local fields, which actually are the 9x6, the 5x6, etc. This is actually a closed list of fields, and you can select, and it will be available immediately for search and facet. This is because we index those fields in advance also. So it's available for search immediately. Another option of mapping from the bibliographic records is by using the normalization rule. Here we have the normalization rule for display, but it's also available for search and facet in another configuration. So in this way, you can actually edit and write the rules, which is actually language that's used also by Alma. Here you can write a rule and map any field from the bibliographic fields, not just the local bibliographic fields, all the fields, and add conditions, add actions, you can add manipulations. Actually, this is very flexible, allow you to do everything you want, and you can actually create the rule with all the information you want to present and save it. Also, for the normalization rule for display are affected immediately. This is calculated in real time, in search time. So creating it and will be affected also immediately the user interface. No need to run any process after creating this normalization rule. What do is to add to the first method to the Mark 21 field. So let's see in the source record, we have actually two fields, the 933 and 935, the donation notes. So I want to add those fields to this local fields. So let's add it, 933 and 935. Save it. So I have these local fields updated. Let's refresh the page of record. So now you can see that we have a new local field, donation note, with the information that I have specified in the local field. Let's try to search by this donation note. I actually enabled the local field also for search. Let's search by this in the library catalog to find the record. And you can see here that I have this record in the list. I also have the facet in the facet list with the information that came from the record that I show you, the business law record. So this is about the local field configuration. I also want to show you another option under this configuration, which in the add field, you can add a new local field, and you can also add a display field, which actually allow you to modify out of the box display fields like titles, subject, creator, contributor, etc., etc. You can just select here what is the field you want to edit. Let's say I want to show you the subject. You can see here that I have the normalization rule for display. It's supported for Mark 21 and also for Unimark, and you can edit the rule and see all the rules, the out-of-the-box rules that subject field is calculated from. And you can do what you want. You can edit, you can move, you can add what you want, save it, and it's applied immediately to the user interface. So this is an additional option there, to modify the out-of-the-box display fields. The last option I want to show, to demonstrate, it's a nice feature to search with journal. In the Primo VE, we have a journal search, and I can select search by any keyword. Let's try nature. Clicking on a record, you can see that I have a nice feature of search with inside, which actually allow you to search for specific article within this journal. This I can specify here what I want to search. Let's say I want to search science within this journal, and the system search all the articles in CDI. You can see here that I am search this term with the ISSN of the selected article, the selected journal, and in the list I have list of relevant articles. So this is a nice feature I also wanted to share you as part of the Primo VE nice functionality. As a continuation of the demo that we saw how the configuration is simple because of the platform, I want to show you some nice features that could be enabled in the system because Primo VE is on the platform. We could actually create those features. Those are actually features that might be not exist in Primo, or features that were created in a nice or better way in Primo VE. So first one is a checking of electronic and physical services in services page and CDI records. In Primo, the electronic in Primo, when user arrive from external system like Google Scholar or in CDI records, the electronic availability is displayed. When in Primo VE, we also check if there is physical availability for those records and display it to the user. So in this example, you can see that I have a services page. Let's see. Record, it actually came from Google. Okay, I don't open the Google Scholar, but you can see here in the URL. In the URL, you can see the CDI Google. So it's actually indicate that this record came from Google Scholar. And you can see here that I have find online, I have the electronic availability, but I have also the physical availability. And this is a nice feature that available for services page and also for CDI records. The next option is the browse by additional options of the browse. Because Primo VE utilize the Alma browse functionality, it allows us to enable additional browse options in Primo VE in an easy and quick way. So, for example, we have added the option to browse by series or by shelving control number. This actually allows us to add features in a better and quick way, so we can add additional options of browse in a quick way. So it's very easy, and we can add if we get a request from customers to add additional options, we just can add it in a easy way. Next, a very important feature is the relations between records. Primo VE uses bibliographic linking fields and the ALMA relations to create the relations between the records. The display of the relation is in two services in full display. The details section, the relation and its type is presented as a hypertext linking, allowing user to click on the link and find the related record. And in the Get It, Primo VE displays the availability of the related records, including locations, items, and services. In the example here, you can see a journal record, which in its details section, there is a list of all the articles that are part of this journal with a hypertext linking. Clicking on any link actually leads the user the related record to the relevant article. And in the article, you can see that this article is part of this journal, and to see in the Get It also the physical availability of the related title of the journal. We actually based on the metadata. As you can see here, we check the metadata and also the ALMA tables. ALMA builds the relation in their side, and we use this functionality also to display the relations and to create the linking between the records. And this is built out of the box for all the customers. Customers just can select if they want to present this field or not, but all the calculation and all the logic of this is created out of the box by Primo VE. No need to create normalization rules like in Primo in the PLK field. It's actually calculated out of the box. Here is a database recommender, which is part of the resource recommender configuration. This allows to add resources from electronic collections activated in Alma. So Primo VE uses a collection configuration for its need, like the deliver URL, and you don't have to configure those details. So in this example, in this screenshot, you can see that in the resource recommender configuration for the subject suggested database, we have a view of add resources from electronic collections, which allow you to search in Alma for all the available collections that are activated for your institutions, for your institution. Clicking, you can select after the search, you can select the relevant databases and add them to the list. The delivery URL is taken from the electronic collection. You don't have to specify it during the configuration. It's taken and calculated based on this. So in the front end, when users search for any relevant tag or search term, the suggested database is presented and the link is taken and calculated from the electronic collection. Also, changes in the electronic collection are actually applied to the Primo VE. No need to go to Primo VE, the URL. Here is a quick access. In Primo VE, we have added an embedded Alma digital viewer in the full display. So users have a quick access to the digital materials like images, PDF, audio, and video, and also provides the option to download the item. So in this example, you can see that we have within the full display of the record, we have the video, we have the audio, we have an image, the PDF, and there is an option to download the item or go to the viewer itself. So this is a nice feature that we could do as part of the platform. Feature I wanted to share with you, it's actually not all those features are, a lot of features are, those are only the selected one, is the ability to create a widget for Primo VE Analytics report. And after creating, you can create a widget for Primo VE Analytics and then add it to the Alma homepage. So you can include in the dashboard, in Alma dashboard, also information or statistics related to Primo VE, which is very nice. And you can see also Primo VE as part of your dashboard. So those are the features. And now I want to move to the Go VE and to talk about the new self-switch process to move from Primo to Primo VE. So until now, the process to move to Primo VE was led and managed by Libris delivery team. 130 institutions moved by this process, but customers' demand are growing and we don't have the capacity to move all the customers in a short time and cannot give the flexibility required by customer about the process duration or timelines. And it's very important for us to give the customers the ability to move to Primo VE, to answer all the needs, and because a lot of customers want to start and enjoy the Primo VE capabilities and tools. So we have created a new way to move to Primo VE. This is a new self-switch process, which is actually driven and managed by the institutions. It gives the flexibility and the autonomy throughout the process. Customer can start it and proceed with it as per its availability and convenience. All the customers can move in the same time. It actually answers also and supplies the scalability. And which is actually very important, during the process, the customer gains the knowledge about the Primo VE tools and the capabilities. So in the end of the process of configuring and setting up the Primo VE, customer is actually an expert in Primo VE. In the Go VE, the self-switch process contains 4 main steps. The first step is the enablement, which is an automatic process. You can see here, this is an automatic process. create the basic component to start with Primo VE. You can select during this enablement process, you can select the view that you would like to create in Primo VE. We actually copy your customization package from Primo to Primo VE. We copy the translations, and we also enable ALMA and CDI searches. The meaning is that we index the ALMA data and we copy the CDI, the PC key. So during the enablement, we create the basic components. So in the end of the enablement, you can start working on Primo VE and move to the next step. The next step is authentication, which is setting up the authentication to allow users to sign in. This is done by the institution with the help of the IT team. And also the step, another step, which is a configuration, which was intended to enhance and adjust Primo VE. In this step, you can create normalization rules to create local fields, external data source. If you have additional data than ALMA, you can import to the configuration during the configuration step, add local resource type, etc., etc. All the tools that Primo VE offers can be as part of the step 3. And when Primo is when user is or institution are okay with Primo VE and it function as they wish, they can go live with Primo VE. This step is done together with Libris. Customer can open a case to go live and then coordinate it with Libris for the DNS switch and enable Primo VE for live using. The redirection from Primo to Primo VE, so users that have Primo links will be redirected to Primo VE. Sorry. And in this go live, you actually in Primo VE and all the users are starting to use Primo VE in their system at their discovery system. We publish this week a new documentation about Go VE, which is not the Primo VE documentation, but a new set of documents that were written in the view of how to convert Primo configuration to Primo VE. So this documentation, it's a huge set of documents about almost all the features that Primo VE offers, and with an explanation about how to check what you have in Primo, where is it configured in Primo, what you have, if you have this feature or not, and then direction how you can use this and configure it in Primo VE. So this is you are welcome to start learning from it. See the Primo VE, the Go VE documentation to start learn how you can move the configuration from Primo to Primo VE. We have started the process. Actually, we have the Go VE enablement started with the early access customers. We are now standing with the first phase of the releasing the Go VE. We are now with the early access stage, and you are welcome to join the upcoming webinar to learn more about the new self-switch process, about the motivation, about the release dates, about the support channels. We have 4 support channels to support you during the move from Primo to Primo VE, and the flow of this. And this is the last slide of also documentation, the Primo VE documentation that exists in the Knowledge Center. So you can also see it. We have documentation, we have training sessions, you can see the release notes, etc. Use those links to learn more about Primo VE. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining this meeting, this webinar. You have my email in this thank you slide, so you can use this email and send me questions.